Stu here with Raid Shadow Legends. Let's get into part 2 of Faction Wars. Okay, so Faction Wars isn't a dungeon and it's not an arena. So I'm wondering what Polarium is going to do with Faction Wars as far as auras go. Like your leader skills, right? Your auras that affect your whole team. I don't know. I really hope it falls under dungeons because I just thought about it today when I was looking through this stuff. I really don't know what's going to happen. But let's get into... We're going to go into High Elves. We already did Bannerlords. We weren't really impressed with what Bannerlords has to offer for Faction Wars. It might be really difficult for them. And remember, I did get confirmation from Polarium that it will be these actual factions. Lizardmen, High Elves, Sacred Order, Dark Elves. It will not be the Corrupted, this Pact, whatever that is. It won't be these groups of them. It will actually be the specific, each individual one. So we are going through it the right way. So we have High Elves. So let's look at High Elves. We're not going to go through every single champion, but we will kind of talk about all of them because High Elves has a really good amount of epic champions that are going to help us out. So I really feel good about High Elves doing Faction Wars. Now remember, Faction Wars are going to be something like waves of champions that we're going to fight like we do now. And then we're going to have bosses. And it says the bosses learn and get stronger or harder. So maybe we're going to have a boss at floor 5. Maybe we'll have a boss at floor 10 if it's like a 10 floor thing. I don't know. I don't know whatsoever. I'm just guessing here. But I'm saying if it's like that, then I don't know. We'll see we'll see what we need to get through it. So as we look here in legendaries, there's no legendary powerhouse that I see that's like a martyr, like a bad L in PvE that will really carry your whole complete team for you. That will just make it so that it's pretty easy, right? Because right here we have this girl who is a poisoner and then will explode. Oh, you can't see it because it's dark. Sorry. Is it a poisoner because she'll explode poisons? It's pretty good and does a burn as well. They can't be resistant on skill 1 from what I remember. But will she carry you through that? She might. She might do really well with the bosses, and I think she will. Shiramani should do well with getting you through the waves if you have her, as well as do some healing. And then Lysandra, she has the speed. She drops the turn meter down, which is very good. The speed increase, which we can use anywhere. So she'd be fantastic to bring in. Royal Huntsman, I just got him, a couple weeks ago. He can do AoE decreased defense. He can ignore 100% of the defense of the enemy. Again, I don't know if any of these are going to really... They're not going to carry you for sure, but you can always supplement them in with whatever team you have. Yanansi, this legendary doesn't seem very legendary to me. It's okay. We went over her a lot. A lot of people have gone over her a lot recently because she just came out. Ithos has the AoE with the automatic crit, always crit, also the weaken, so he can come in there for some defense. Bellinor, he has so many things going, right? So many effects. So you could bring him in. You could bring him in here as well for some defense. And Arbiter, you could bring her in for speed lead. Not for speed lead, for speed for turn meter increase actually. And for reviving, everything she has lower has a chance 100% if it's skilled up to decrease the duration of all buffs by 1. So those are the legendaries. Again, I don't see any that are really going to just carry the whole team. What I do see though is epics that are amazing. Epics that are so good. Well, I see 3 of them, right? The first 3 right here. We have Royal Guard, we have Tyrell, and we have the Nasal. And then we have also our amazing Apothecary. So you bring these 4 in here, and I think they're going to be the 4 core team for any High Elf team going through Faction Wars. Really. Don't you? I mean, they are basically so good. And we'll go over them right now. Let's see what they have. And then we'll also talk about this girl right here, how I was trying to help. Let's go over her anyways, because we're here. Let's do it. So I was trying to bring her into Spiders to help out with people who don't have a good Spiders team, right? Because it says decrease the turn meter by 50% on a 2-turn cooldown. I used her a long time ago, so I took her to 5-star recently. I tried her out, but she only decreases 50% of current turn meter. So if they're at 60%, it's only going to drop it to 30%. It's not going to drop it to 10%, which is really sad because you know how Polarium always wants to make it so that their uncommons and rares aren't useful in the game or something. I don't know, but she could have been really good. She could have been really good for that, to help out in Spiders, to help people struggling, because there are a lot of people struggling. We're going to talk about that in my next video. I have Spiders running on my main account right now, so we will talk about that then. But I used her. I fed her to my Arbiter, to 6-star my Arbiter, so she was out the window. So we'll see. As far as these other uncommons, I don't see any that can really work well. let's get up here to Royal Guard. So you know Royal Guard, everybody knows Royal Guard, decreased defense on a skill 1, AoE that does damage based on enemy max HP and his attack, and then he also has where he can decrease speed. So on this guy, for bosses, for waves, for faction wars, he's going to be top tier for high elves, for sure. Terrell, same thing. Decreased attack, we've got decreased defense, could also put asleep if they had decreased attack. Turn meter reduction, so all damage based on defense. Another top tier for faction wars. Then we have the nasal. Does healing based on his max HP. The best thing in the game to have is AoE healing based on their actual max HP, so you can bring his HP off the roof and then get heals, you know, because your other guys that you're running with aren't going to have necessarily super high HP, so it's always better to get HP healing off of his max HP, along with increased defense, and it's on a 3-turn cooldown. AoE that lowers the debuffs, lowers the buffs of the enemy by 1, and he's got great stats here. So you can't go wrong with those 3. Let's look at these other ones though. So this girl, I've seen her in PvP do really hard AoE, but other than that, I don't know if she's going to be, you know, something that we're going to use very often for the faction war waves, because you know the faction war is going to be hard. It's going to be hard. Hopefully it's not as hard as Spiders 20, and it's not as hard as Ultra Clan Boss. Otherwise, a lot of people are going to be upset, and and we can bring some champions in here. Vergus was just buffed recently, and nobody still uses him. So we need to do a round 2 Polarium of buffing this guy, please. He looks amazing. He looks like what? Like Ithos. I would like to run this guy, but all his skills just are not usable. So please go back and redo him again and think about where we would fit him in. Think about what role he would actually fill, and would he be useful in all the champions we have today. So let's think about that. Marksman I played when I first started playing the game. It was kind of hard because I tried him on Clan Boss. This is when I very first started. You need 100% crit to get the poisons. He does increase the turn meter of your team, and then he can ignore a little bit of defense, but he's very fragile. Him and Jingle Hunter have about the same stats, so they're pretty fragile, and Jingle Hunter only freezes AoE if you kill somebody, and then of course he does the decreased turn meter. I don't know if I'd be bringing Jingle Hunter or Marksman into something like this. I think the enemy is going to be too hard to take down, and it's just going to be a little bit difficult to fit them in there. And then we have Battle Sage. Battle Sage does the AoE on the skill 1. She can do the revive. She doesn't have a heal, unfortunately. I wish she had a heal. She's pretty cool. She's got the speed lead, but all she's really got going for her in Faction Wars would be to revive somebody who's constantly dying that you need on your team. So you would bring her in to do that, and then she does an AoE on her skill 1, but I don't see her bringing that much to the team. She's okay. And Exemplar needs to be redone as well. Exemplar is a Void Epic. You want Void Epics to be good, but she was always compared to Aethel back in the day because of this weekend, but still nobody really used her, and still nobody really uses her now, I don't think. I don't see her being, you know, taking you through there and getting everything done with Exemplar. I just don't see that. So we have Apothecary. Everybody knows Apothecary. We've got him for the speed buff, we've got him for the turn meter increase, and we've got him for the spot heals on a 2-turn cooldown that can also critical heal, which heals for a lot. So Apothecary is just the man. So you bring in Apothecary along with those other epics, and I think we're good to go. Avenger, I never really liked Avenger very much. And Elahan, she is one of your starting champions you can choose from. She does a lot of AoE, right? AoE, she has a decent HP lead. And then Adjudicator, another new champion that I wasn't fond of. I'm not even going to look at her skills. Harris is another one that's been around forever, does the counterattack whenever an enemy is attacked. And then we got Magister. He does, what does he do? Does he have a heal on here? Heals all allies by 10% of the target's HP. So you could have him. I wouldn't bring him in here. I think we will be fine with lifesteal gear or artifacts, lifesteal artifacts, or bringing in our boy Apothecary as well with lifesteal artifacts. Because a lot of these things, if you don't have the nasal, if you don't have good heals for these faction wars, we're going to have to still continue to rely on lifesteal artifact for everything. So unfortunately, that's what we'll have to do. Now, as always, I want to bring in a all rare uncommon team, but if we can't do that, we'll bring in mostly rares and bring in one hopefully epic, and be able to down whatever we're faced with. Now, this girl, I really didn't like her when she came out recently, but she is defense based. She's got pretty good defense, and she does do some things that might help out in something like Faction Wars, depending on how it's done. Maybe we'll have to see. So my goal would be to do is to bring you a team that has all rares. And if we can't do that, which it looks like it'd be pretty hard because these rares aren't survivable rares, I don't see any tanky rares in here that I could bring and actually keep up and keep alive, even if I deck them out with tons of, you know, amazing artifacts, boosted my Great Hall, and then keep a high rank in PvP. I just don't see these rares surviving in there and doing well, and definitely not these uncommons as well. I see just this team of these three epics here. Oh, it's really dark on the screen, it looks like up there. So these 3 epics here are the core team along with Apothecary. Those 4 will, and you interchange with whoever you want to. As your 5th, put in whatever we need for DPS or more support, but these 4 are gonna rock it for sure, 100%. But that's really all I've got for High Elves. Let me know what you guys think about the High Elves for Faction Wars. Also, let me know what you guys think about the Aura. What do you think they're gonna do with our auras for Faction Wars, since they're not actually underneath dungeons? But I hope they just say, hey, Faction Wars are going to be within the dungeon and you can use the auras for that, because I don't want them to come out with a whole new slew of auras just for Faction Wars. They can, that's fine, but then, you know, they better be good champions that we actually want to use, otherwise it's no good to us, right? So that's all I've got, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful day. I am working on a spiders video now, grinding on my main account behind me to do a Spiders 13 showcase of what kind of artifacts we get from doing the lowest one we can get to get the 6-star gear, and then also what kind of teams we would use for Spider 13 to get some help in there, because Spiders is tuned really hard. Anyways, we'll talk about that in the next video. Thank you all for watching. I love you all. Thanks for the support, and you all have a wonderful day. I'll see you in the next video.